Sir, I don't understand.
That's glaringly apparent.
I can't fail this class.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Mr. Coates. I truly believe that you can.
The Holdovers. Directed by Alexander Payne, this soon-to-be Christmas classic came out during the fall of 2023, and I think it exemplifies a brilliant script and overall amazing quality to represent not just a period of time, but for the movie in all ways to feel like that period of time. The Holdovers is up for Best Picture, and here is why I think it should win come Oscar Sunday.
We're hiding in Argentina.
Stifle it, Tully. You just earned yourself a detention, sir.
Being here with you is already one big detention.
Son of a bitch, that's another detention!
The first thing I think of when I think of why The Holdover should win Best Picture comes down to the amazing acting trio of Dominic Sessa, Paul Giamatti, and Divine Joy Randolph. These three are able to come together in this movie and deliver just such a real story type performance with characters that feel real, that you can become attached to, that you can feel sorry for, that you can feel sad for, but you can also feel hope for. And each one of these actors were able to do that with their own individual performances the whole way through. I'm going to start off with who I thought was my favorite of the trio, which is Divine Joy Randolph. She is likely going to be up and winning for Best Supporting Actress. Her role as Mary is just so heartbreaking but also uplifting at the same time. As somebody who's going through a personal tragedy that has happened, and this being the first holiday after that personal tragedy, you see her trying to make the world better for others while also trying to get past what happened in her life. And Divine Joy Randolph is able to display such a wide range of emotions, whether it be happiness, whether it be sadness, whether it just be apathy, whether it be just trying to live on. There is so much going on with her performance, and the character of Mary is essential to uplifting both Paul Giamatti and Dominic Sessa's character throughout, that she is the perfect example of what a supporting written character and acted character should be, and is definitely one of my favorites in the movie by far. Paul Giamatti as Paul Hudman, this old teacher at this all-boys school, again, delivers a great performance of somebody who is kind of has their own life tragedy story throughout. The extra strict teacher that really wants to be above and beyond a dick to his students, but also wants his students to succeed potentially in life. I think Paul Giamatti is able to take his character of Paul in just a very great way to where, as the story goes on, as you learn more and more what made Mr. Hudman who he is, you get to see different sides of him. You get to see the joyful side. You get to see the Mr. Scroogey type side. You get to see why he ends up who he is and why he chooses to end up who he is for most of his life. I think you also get an amazing arc written for his character throughout the story, and while the ending can be kind of sad in a way, I feel like when you leave Paul at the end of the movie, you get a sense that this is the first time in a while that Paul is going to be able to live his life out.
Hey, so you got kicked out of Harvard for cheating?
Nope, I got kicked out of Harvard for hitting him.
You hit him? What, like punched him out?
Nope, I hit him with a car.
You got kicked out of Harvard for hitting a guy with a car?
By accident. Pint of Jim Beam, please. But he broke 3 ribs, which was technically his fault because he shouldn't have been in the road.
Finally, you have Dominic Sessa as Angus, the somewhat troublesome student that is left alone during the holidays for, Mr. Hudman to watch over. Now, Dominic Sessa teeters the great line of douchebaggy guy with you can't care about to somebody who's had a lot of negative things happen in his life that you end up making him care about and you end up enjoying and you want the best of him. You see him grow as a teenager in school during this holiday, over the holiday here, to where he is kind of a dick. He is kind of a a-hole, and you understand why Mr. Humnum is kind of annoyed by him and throughout. But you get to know more of his backstory, he gets to learn more of Paul's backstory, and he really grows as an individual, and he's somebody that when you leave the movie, you can't wait to see more of where his character goes in life. I feel like Angus is somebody that is likely going to be off to hopefully do great things, and just seeing how neglected he is potentially from the people in his life, his parents in his life. I just think that Dominic Sessa gives such a great performance, and it's one of the supporting performances of the year, potentially even lead. I think he's almost as much of a lead in this movie as Paul Giamatti is, but Dominic Sessa gives an amazing performance that should very much give his acting career a long lifespan. On top of this, the direction of the movie and everything aesthetically about the movie bleeds like the period of peace it's supposed to be, which is the late 60s or early 70s. Whether it's the intro to the movie, whether it's the cinematography for the movie, whether it's the credits for the movie, or just the sound and the way the film looks in the movie. The Holdovers was shot as if it was a movie that was filmed and acted out in 1972 and somehow now is getting released in 2024. And I think that just speaks to Alexander Payne and his crew's amazing work throughout the whole entire process. I rarely see a period piece movie that the whole movie feels like it's a part of that period, not that the subject matter is a part of that period. So beyond all these things, that three-cast juggernaut, the great aesthetic and writing that takes place during the Holdovers, the excellent direction from Alexander Payne for the Holdovers. There are so many reasons why this should win Best Picture, and I've listed them all out here. So I hope on March 10th we see the Holdovers take that final envelope with Best Picture, and then Paul and Angus and Mary can celebrate in happiness with their Oscar.
You're gonna get me fired.
This is your Rubicon.
Do not cross
The Rubicon.
The Holdovers.
Ouch! Jesus! The dirt on